Handsets packed with Windows Mobile 6.5 are slowly growing in numbers, and another handset joining the Winmo party is Acer's neoTouch. Now, it's packing some serious power by securing Qualcomm's 1GHz Snapdragon processor underneath the hood, although unlike Toshiba's TG01, sometimes it just wasn't as speedy as you would have liked and occasionally left us twiddling our thumbs, although saying that it was able to handle multiple applications without going into a state of panic and causing the phone to slow down. Now, like many Windows-toting smartphones, the neoTouch sports Acer's own proprietary interface on the home screen, which, like HTC's Touch Flow and LG's S-Class UI, is customizable, bar the three options at the top: phone, text and phone book. Although this doesn't leave much room for creativity, as there's only 6 spaces. Now, it's clear from the layout of the menu that ease of use is paramount to the handset, so don't fret if you don't want one-touch access to YouTube or Windows Messenger. You can change it to suit your own preferences. The standard Windows mobile interface is also present should you require a different layout and, of course, more options. It's got great high-res screen estate at 3.8 inches, but it appears Acer have missed a trick by packing it with a resistive touchscreen and therefore lacking multi-touch capabilities. But there is a stylus on hand to assist, which doesn't make up for this omission, but it sure helps. So, for example, when you want to zoom in online, you'll need to turn to the panel along the bottom to do so, which is where you control all aspects of your browsing experience. The good news is the neoTouch offers full flash, which is why they've shoved in one-touch access to YouTube. And thanks to its CPU, it handles things like video rather nicely. Well, most of the time it isn't without its flaws, and you will see the words buffering and connecting a little more than you'd like. Now, the touchscreen isn't the best it could be. For example, sometimes it takes multiple taps on an icon for it to acknowledge your command, and the little white circle that appears around an icon when tapped sometimes doesn't show up, so you're unsure as to whether you've hit the icon correctly until it opens up and there's at least a long pause before it does so. Now, the touchscreen is at its most temperamental when you're browsing the web. So let's say you're loading a web page, which is very speedy, we will give it that. If you try and intercept, sometimes it takes a little while for the phone to acknowledge your command, and occasionally it throws on us as well. Now, while we're being negative, call quality is pretty standard as well. It's definitely not one of the phone's strong points, as we just found call quality just wasn't as good as it is on other smartphones. But on a more positive note, you'll find a handy little icon on the home page in the top right corner that will allow you to go back and visit all your pre-opened applications. There's also Microsoft's Marketplace, which is yet to become the megastore it aspires to be and follow in the footsteps of Apple and Android, but it's there, and there is of course always room for improvement. Now, moving on to the standard side of things, it's packing a 5-megapixel camera complete with LED flash and autofocus, so it's pretty bog standard. Video capture is also on offer at 30 frames per second, and as expected, there's GPS for geotagging and of course navigating your way around town. Now, 3G, HSDPA, Wi-Fi with DLNA technology and Bluetooth are all present, and you can expand the neoTouch's memory by up to 32 gig via micro SD card, although rather annoyingly it's located underneath the back panel. Now, you'll also find a 3.5mm jack, although with its basic Windows Media Player interface, Acer can hardly expect to go up against the competition. Now, lastly, moving on to design, it's nice and slim and lightweight despite being a little bit big for your pocket, and these are usually all the ingredients for a well-designed handset, but sadly there's just something about the neoTouch that makes it feel a bit cheap and plasticky, and the back panel is a fingerprint haven. Now, despite all that's wrong with it, there's actually a lot right with it as well, so without comparing it to super smartphones like the iPhone, the neoTouch is actually a pretty decent handset in its own right, as long as you don't mind a little bit of touchscreen lag. Now, we quite like its proximity sensor as well, as seen on HTC's HD2, so when you're talking away on your mobile, your screen goes to sleep to prevent unwanted accidental phone activity. And it's yours now if you want it, because it's available right now.